And here we go again, another Washington Commanders practice officially in the books, but this time Jayden Daniels gets to go against the Miami Dolphins defense in their first joint practice of the season. Now in this video, we're going to break down all the news, notes, highlights, observations from Jayden Daniels absolutely looking like a beast out there, but also some other guys really starting to position themselves to, potentially break out this season. We're going to break it all down. Now I do want to give a disclaimer really quickly, guys. You have to keep in mind that the Commanders and Dolphins media team is not allowed to film 7-on-7s or even 11-on-11s as well, due to other teams being able to, get the film and stealing, the idea of play calling, right? So they're not going to be able to show that. So keep in mind, I don't have any footage for you in terms of that. But what we do have is a ton of news and notes from today's practice. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. And before we jump in the video, big shout out to all the Commanders and Dolphins media team out there who consistently give us so many highlights and news and notes from around practice. Today it kind of feels like we were at practice because of all the news and notes that we got. With that being said, let's kind of dive into the video and talk about today's practice. Now, they actually ended practice today with a late game drive scenario. The first play was a Terry McLaurin slip and a Kendall Fuller interception. Again, if it wasn't for the slip, probably would have been a completion, but that was good to see for the Miami defense, who, like I said before, Jayden Daniels looked really, really good against this Miami Dolphins defense in the early portions of practice. But so that was good to see for the Miami's defense to end the practice. Had a couple of drops, had Emmanuel Ogbah blow up a run for a loss. We did see Brandon Coleman out there in pads. We saw Kader Kahu, come up and blitz a couple of times into the backfield and put pressure on the quarterback. We also forced a PBU over the middle of the field as well. Tyreek Hill really had a big step in today's practice on the Commanders defense, but Tua overthrew him and it went incomplete. A fight actually almost broke out right after that next play. There was what would have been a sack. So that was cool to see. They didn't really fight too much, got right back into business. What else happened here? We saw Emmanuel Forbes and Jeremy Chin both have a PBU versus two-minute drill versus the Dolphins offense. We saw I really do want to get into Jayden Daniels because he had a really big day. But I'll wait just a little bit longer until we get into that. Well, let's continue to talk about, some more things here that went wrong before we get into the really good things, right? So Jayden Daniels also had another interception tipped up in the air and then caught by Marcus May for an interception. So definitely don't love to see that. Want to be able to catch these footballs, guys. Commanders got to have good hands out there, right? Terry McLaurin did catch a touchdown pass on Kendall Fuller. Beautiful throw by Daniels. The one thing I noticed a ton was a bunch of Miami Dolphins media members were so high on Jayden Daniels. I mean, they were, so impressed with what this guy can actually do. We also saw an Austin Eckler really big gain on the left side run during 11-on-11s. He also had a touchdown run up the middle of the defense, about 8 to 10 yards out. That was good to see. We saw Jamison Crowder get a touchdown pass, or reception, I guess I should say. Defense early was not doing good for the Dolphins. John Bates also caught a touchdown pass from Jayden Daniels. Absolutely just everywhere. Very hot start to this practice. I remember Jalen Phillips was held out of the first 11-on-11 period against Washington. He worked all yesterday, but they want to be extremely cautious with what he is doing and how he is being utilized. Emmanuel Ogbah for the Dolphins had a good day, had a TFL on Brian Robinson. We had a good pressure by Jonathan Harris. Definitely PBU or broke up a pass from Jayden Daniels. We saw Mike White connect with a 40-yard bomb down the field from to Malik Washington. And then we had a, Chigawozi, I believe his name is. I don't really know how to say his name completely, but he did kind of ripped it out at the end. So they weren't really too sure if it was a PBU or a catch and fumble. We saw Ahmed get a nice run, probably about 20-25 yards through the middle of the defense. We talked about Cam Smith. He looked pretty good out there for the most part. But I believe during 11 on 11s, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I saw someone say that Jayden Daniels had roughly 5 touchdown passes in just one team drill portion. So, guys, that is huge. That is absolutely huge for a team like the Commanders, who are really just excited about the up-and-comingness of Jayden Daniels in this offense. Now, before we get any further into the video, I need you guys to do me a big favor, guys. Hit the like button, but more importantly, subscribe to the channel if you're new. It is free. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe, and we will be covering the Commanders and the Dolphins throughout the entirety of the offseason, the preseason. We're going to be posting film breakdowns. We're going to be doing regular season games as well, so make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Again, doesn't cost anything. Lastly, we will be covering or streaming the game on my Twitch. If you want to watch that game with me, make sure you guys follow the Twitch. Link will be in the description, or you can find it at Matty Dubs with 3 S's. So make sure you guys go follow the Twitch as well. So during some red zone portion, Jayden Daniels completed 5 of 6 of his passes with the first team defense on the field for the Dolphins. 4 of those were touchdowns. The first one was to Terry McLaurin, who ran a dig over the middle of the field and then beat Kendall Fuller in the process on that specific play. So that was really good to see. I thought Jayden Daniels and Terry McLaurin, that connection is something that is going to continue to build going forward. We also heard Dan Quinn mention that the wide receiver 2 position is pretty much up for grabs right now. They have no idea who that number 2 receiver is right now. So this is going to be a constant battle, a constant, battle, can't battle, right? We're going to see who ends up, coming out of that position, right? You have Luke McCaffrey, you have Jahan Dotson, you have Jamison Crowder, there's so many guys in this Washington Commanders receiver room that they actually are pretty high on. Didn't even mention Zacchaeus, right? De'Ami Brown as well, so Bryson Tremaine. Let me know who you guys think. They just signed Martavis Bryant. I think Kashmir Allen has a lot of potential as well. Let me know who you think the top 3 wide receivers will be for this Washington Commanders team. Let me know in the comments down below. Let's see, what else did we really see in today's practice? I thought Jaylen Wright had some explosiveness. Obviously, Devon Achane had some really big plays as well. The dude's so quick. That is pretty electric to see. That they have some of the fastest players I've ever seen on one team. I don't know how defensive coordinators are going to stay up and really game plan against them. So Jaylen Wright had a nice run. I think first contact came roughly about 10 to 15 yards down the field, and continued to just fight for the extra yards. So shout out to Jaylen Wright. I think he could have a big year. I know I'm all over the place in this video, but listen, that's how practice goes, man. That's literally how practice goes. Sometimes they stay in line, and then the offense for the Commanders and the defense for the Commanders, both sides of the football are playing at one time, just on separate fields, separate sides of the field. So a lot is going on in these practices. So pretty much all over the place for the most part. But let me know what you guys think about today's practice. I thought Jayden Daniels looked really good for the Commanders. I think Brian Robinson, Austin Eckler are 2 guys who are going to be heavily utilized out of the backfield, as well as even as slot, put Austin Eckler in the slot. I think he could be a good slot receiver for you as well. Zach Ertz was not at practice today. Believe he had a baby, hopefully. So, hey, shout out to Zach Ertz. Ben Sinnott, if you guys watch the preseason game, he looks like he could be a stud. Want to see him continue to take that into this preseason game. Want to see Brandon Coleman continue to ramp it up and get more prepared for a preseason game. Wide receiver room looks like T. McLaurin is your number 1. Number 2 is up in the air. Defensively for the Commanders, Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen, Jer'Zhan Newton. Excited about those guys. Obviously, Newton, I think, was limited in today's practice, or I actually don't even think he made a trip. I don't even think he made the trip to today's practice. So, there's that. And then from there, just excited for some of the young guys. Jeremy Chin, hopefully Emmanuel Forbes can continue to build. Oh, we did have a big injury. I believe Bo Bauer. Bo Bauer did go down very bad. Very bad pain, I guess a lot of them were saying, and he was carted off the football field. Definitely not a good look. Praying for him. Put some prayer emojis in the chat if you guys are here at this point in the video. But Man, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, join the family. I'll see you guys in the next video. Hopefully, you guys are coming to the Twitch streams to watch the game with me. So I'll see you guys then. Peace.